That means everything really worked out the way it was supposed to. So yeah, great, a phenomenal. That's amazing. We still got some more stuff to do today, but hey, starting off nice. Continue all through it. Gotta finish. It's gonna be finished. It's gonna finish smooth though. But uh, hey, it's day 25. It's day 25 of the 1 year Bible. We gotta get to it. Gotta get started. But hey, before we get started, let's put this on the tunes in the background. Good afternoon. While I change to this page, get in the mood. Get the mood set off right. Hey, thank you for the immediate like, bro. I appreciate that. Today we're gonna be reading from Genesis 51 through Exodus 2, verse 10. It's day 20. It's day 25. Um, Almost done with the first month of the everyday reading. Almost done with the first month, but we still got 11 to go. So we just getting started. We're just getting started. We're just getting started. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and get started. All right. So today we're reading from Genesis 51 through Exodus 2, verse 10. So I'm going to get started. So Joseph threw himself on his father and wept over him and kissed him. Then Joseph told the physicians who served him to embalm his father's body. So Jacob was embalmed. The embalming process took the usual 40 days, and the Egyptians mourned his death for 70 days. When the period of mourning was over, Joseph approached Pharaoh's advisors and said, "Please do, get facts, we got this." Um, Pharaoh's decided, "Please do me this favor and speak to Pharaoh on my behalf. Tell him that my father made me swear an oath. He said to me, 'Listen, I am about to die. Take my body back to the land of Canaan and bury me in the tomb I prepared for myself. So please allow me to go and bury my father. After his burial, I will return without delay.'" Pharaoh agreed to Joseph's request. "Go and bury your father, as he made you promise," he said. So Joseph went up to bury his father, and he was accompanied by all the Pharaoh's officials, all the senior members of the Pharaoh's household, and all the senior officers of Egypt. Joseph also took his entire household and his brothers and their households, but they left their little children and flocks and herds in the land of Goshen. A great number of chariots and charioteers accompanied Joseph. When they arrived at the threshing floor of Atad, near the Jordan River, they held a very great and solemn memorial service, with a 7-day period of mourning for Joseph's father. The local residents, the Canaanites, watched the mourning at the threshing floor of Atad. Then they renamed that place, which is near Jordan, Abel Mizram, for they said, "This is a place of deep mourning for these Egyptians." So Jacob's sons did as he had commanded them. They carried his body to the land of Canaan and buried him in the cave in the field of Machpelah, near Mamre. This is the cave that Abraham had bought as a permanent burial site from Ephron the Hittite. After burying Jacob, Joseph returned to Egypt with his brothers and all who had accompanied him to his father's burial. But now that their father was dead, Joseph's brother became fearful. "Now Joseph will show his anger and pay us back for all the wrong we did to him," they said. So they sent this message to Joseph: "Before your father died, he instructed us to say to you, 'Please forgive your brothers for the great wrong they did to you, for their sin in treating you so cruelly. So we, the servants of the God of your father, beg you to forgive our sin." Oh man, bro, just need to let his anger out, bro. It just fell right off, bro. It just fell right off. It hit my force field and bounced right off, bro. It don't matter. Hope your day gets better, bro. I hope your day gets better, Omar. I hope your day gets better, bro. And hey, Neve. Hey, Neve. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. When Joseph received the message, he broke down and wept. Then his brothers came and threw themselves down before Joseph. "Look, we your slaves," they said. But Joseph replied, "Don't be afraid of me. Am I God that I can punish you? You intended to harm me, but God intended it all for good. He brought me to this position so I could save the lives of many people. No, don't be afraid. I will continue to take care of you and your children." So he reassured them by speaking kindly to them. So Joseph and his brothers and their families continued to live in Egypt. Joseph lived to the age of 110. He lived to see 3 generations of descendants of his son Ephraim, and he lived to see the birth of the children of Manasseh's son Machir, whom he claimed as his own. Soon I will die, Joseph told his brothers, but God will surely come to help you and lead you out of this land of Egypt. He will bring you back to the land he solemnly promised to give to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. Then Joseph made the sons of Israel swear an oath, and he said, when God comes to help you and lead you back, you must take my bones with you. So Joseph died at the age of 110. The Egyptians embalmed him, and his body was placed in a coffin in Egypt. These are the names of the sons of Israel, that is, Jacob, who moved to Egypt with their father, each with his family: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, and Asher. In all, Jacob had 70 descendants in Egypt, including Joseph, who was already there. In time, Joseph and all his brothers died, ending that entire generation. But their descendants, the Israelites, had many children and grandchildren. In fact, they multiplied so greatly that they became extremely powerful and filled the land. Eventually, a new king came to power in Egypt, who knew nothing about Joseph or what he had done. He said to his people, look, the people of Israel now outnumber us and are stronger than we are. We must make a plan to keep them from growing even more. If we don't, and if war breaks out, they will join our enemies and fight against us. Then they will escape from the country. So the Egyptians made the Israelites their slaves. They appointed brutal slave drivers over them, hoping to wear them down with crushing labor. They forced them to build the cities of Pithom and Ramses as supply centers for the king. But the more the Egyptians oppressed them, the more the Israelites multiplied and spread, and the more alarmed the Egyptians became. So the Egyptians worked the people of Israel without mercy. They made their lives bitter, forcing them to mix mortar and make bricks and do all the work in the fields. They were ruthless in all their demands. Then Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, gave this order to the Hebrew midwives, Shiphrah and Puah. When you help the Hebrew women as they give birth, watch as they deliver. If the baby is a boy, kill him. If it is a girl, let her live. But because the midwives feared God, they refused to obey the king's orders. They allowed the boys to live too. So the king of Egypt called for the midwives. Why have you done this? He demanded. Why have you allowed the boys to live? The Hebrew women are not like the Egyptian women, the midwives replied. They are more vigorous and have their babies so quickly that we cannot get there in time. So God was good to the midwives, and the Israelites continued to multiply, growing more and more powerful. And because the midwives feared God, he gave them families of their own. Then Pharaoh gave this order to all his people: throw every newborn Hebrew boy into the Nile River, but you may let the girls live. About this time, a man and a woman from the tribe of Levi got married. The woman became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She saw that he was a special baby and kept him hidden for 3 months. But when she could no longer hide him, she got a basket and made papyrus reeds, and waterproofed it with tar and pitch. She put the baby in the basket and laid it among the reeds along the bank of the Nile River. The baby's sister then stood at a distance, watching to see what would happen to him. Soon, Pharaoh's daughter came down to battle in the river, and her attendants walked along the riverbank. When the princess saw the basket among the reeds, she sent her maid to get it for her. When the princess opened it, she saw the baby. The little boy was crying, and she felt sorry for him. This must be one of the Hebrew children, she said. Then the baby's sister approached the princess. Should I go and find the Hebrew women to nurse the baby for you, she asked. Yes, do, the princess replied. So the girl went and called the baby's mother. Take this baby and nurse him for me, the princess told the baby's mother. I will pay you for your help. So the woman took her baby home and nursed him. Later, when the boy was older, his mother brought him back to the Pharaoh's daughter, who adopted him as her son. The princess named him Moses, for she explained, I lifted him out of the water. Ooh. Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, backhand? Welcome back. Welcome to the stream, bro. I'm the only one here. Hey, it's no problem. Hey, what's up, Ken? God bless you. The wars are back on in Jerusalem. I see the wars and rumors. Matthew, Green Bay, Wisconsin. Hey, what's up, Jason? How you doing, man? Sing the verses. I got you for sure. You know I got you. Oh, how I love the name Jesus. Hey, I need the background. Hold up. Let me. I gotta. You know, you only really hit the notes right when the song's playing. You feel me? You know. Hold up. We between verses right now, so we might as well. Jesus. Something about the name Jesus. Woo. It's the sweetest. Woo! I hit that. I feel like I hit that. I know. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Skittles? I was hitting that note real quick because Ken asked me to. All right. Matthew 16, verse 13 through 17, verse 9. Okay. So when Jesus came to the region of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do you people say the Son of Man is?" Well, they replied, "Some say John the Baptist, some say Elijah, and others say Jeremiah, or one of the other prophets." Then he asked them, "But who do you say I am?" Simon Peter asked, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." Jesus replied, "You are blessed, Simon, son of John, because my Father in heaven has revealed this to you. You did not learn this from any human being. Now I say to you that you are Peter, which means rock, and upon this rock I will build my church, and now the powers of hell will not conquer it. And I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you forbid on earth will be forbidden in heaven, and whatever you permit on earth will be permitted in heaven." Then he sternly warned the disciples not to tell anyone that he was the Messiah. From then on, Jesus began to tell his disciples plainly that it was necessary for him to go to Jerusalem, and that he would suffer many terrible things at the hands of the elders, the leading priests, and the teachers of religious law. He would be killed, but on the third day he would be raised from the dead. But Peter took him aside and began to reprimand him for saying such things. "Heaven forbid, Lord," he said, "this will never happen to you." Jesus turned to Peter and said, "Get away from me, Satan. You are a dangerous trap to me. You are seeing things merely from a human point of view, not from God's." Then Jesus said to his disciples, "If any of you wants to be my follower, you must give up your own way, take up your cross, and follow me. If you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it. But if you give your life up for my sake, you will save it. And what do you benefit if you gain the whole world but lose your own soul? Is anything worth more than your own soul? For the Son of Man will come with his angels in the glory of his Father and judge all the people according to their deeds. And I tell you the truth, some standing here right now will not die before they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom." 6 days later, Jesus took Peter and the two brothers, James and John, and led them up a high mountain to be alone. As the men watched, Jesus' appearance was transformed, so that his face shone like the sun and his clothes became as white as light. Suddenly Moses and Elijah appeared and began walking with Jesus. Peter exclaimed, "Lord, it's wonderful for us to be here. If you want, I'll make 3 shelters as memorials, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." But even as he spoke, a bright cloud overshadowed them, and a voice from the cloud said, This is my dearly loved son, who brings me great joy. Listen to him." The disciples were terrified and fell face down on the ground. Then Jesus came over and touched them. "Get up," he said. "Don't be afraid." And when they looked up, Moses and Elijah were gone, and they only saw Jesus. As they went back down the mountain, Jesus commanded them, "Don't tell anyone what you have seen until the Son of Man has been raised from the dead." And now we're going to get into Psalms. YouTube is finally working, bro. I see you, baritone. Facts, facts. Beautiful music. I appreciate that. Now we're going to Psalms 21, 1 to 13. "How the king rejoices in your strength, O Lord. He shouts with joy because you give him victory. For you have given him his heart's desire. You have withheld nothing he requested. You welcome him back with success and prosperity. You place a crown of finest gold on his head. He asked you to preserve his life, and you granted his request. The days of his life stretched on forever. Yet victory brings him great honor, and you have clothed him with splendor and majesty. You have endowed him with eternal blessings and given him the joy of your presence. For the king trusts in the Lord. The unfailing love of the Most High will keep him from stumbling. You will capture all your enemies. Your strong right hand will seize all who hate you. You will throw them in a flaming furnace when you appear. The Lord will consume them in his anger. Fire will devour them. You will wipe their children from the face of the earth. They will never have descendants. Although they plot against you, their evil schemes will never succeed. For they will turn and run when they see the arrows aimed at them. Rise up, O Lord, in all your power. With music and singing we celebrate your mighty acts." And now, Proverbs 5, 1 through 6. "My son, pay attention to my wisdom. Listen carefully to my wise counsel. Then you will show discernment, and your lips will express what you have learned. For the lips of an immoral woman are for the lips of an immoral woman are as sweet as honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil. But in the end, she is as bitter as poison, and as dangerous as a double-edged sword. Her feet go down to death, her steps lead straight to the grave, for she cares nothing about the path to life. She staggers down a crooked trail and doesn't realize it. And now, may the Almighty Angel bless you with his comfort and his knowledge. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Morning. Hey, I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Death Rider. I'm gonna say Death Rider. I'm gonna call you Rider. I'm gonna call you X1 actually. I like X1. It feels like I'm in a race or something. I'm gonna call you X1. I appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day as well. I hope you have a blessed rest of your day as well. And now we're gonna read the episode at the very bottom. It's called The Ultimate Prophet and Lost Statement. Peter refused to believe that Jesus would be killed and even censored Jesus for saying so. But Jesus forcibly informed Peter that seeing only from a human perspective is a dangerous trap set by Satan. Then Jesus asked his disciples to consider the ultimate question. What does it profit anyone if they accumulate all the world but lose their soul for all eternity in the process? Every man needs to stop and do the math. But don't just consider it. Cut your losses and make the needed changes to ensure your eternal profit. Let's read it one more time. Gotta go, Chrissy. Hey, appreciate you backhand. Thank you for joining the stream, brother. Have a great rest of your day. The ultimate prophet and lost statement. Peter refused to believe that Jesus would be killed and even censored Jesus for saying so. But Jesus forcibly informed Peter that seeing only from a human perspective is a dangerous trap set by Satan. Then Jesus asked his disciples to consider the ultimate question. What does it profit anyone if they accumulate all the world but lose their soul for all eternity in the process? Every man needs to stop and do the math. But don't just consider it. Cut your losses and make the needed changes to ensure your eternal profit. And I'm going to make myself some eggs and pray. I do read the Bible sometimes, but I just can't pass Genesis. Well, hopefully we pass Genesis together because we're reading this whole thing this year. We're getting through the whole thing this year. And hopefully we all gain the necessary wisdom that we are supposed to be gaining, as a community. But let's go over a couple things, right? And I really do enjoy the excerpts at the very end of the reading, because they really bring together the entire thing. But we want to talk about a couple things, right? So we're going to get into the Egyptian story probably tomorrow when we read tomorrow's reading. But let's go over Joseph one more time, right? And how that ties specifically into the very ending excerpt at the very end is saying the ultimate prophet and lost statement, right? Well, Joseph. Hey, what's up, Skittles? What's up, brother? How you doing? How you doing this afternoon? Or this morning if it's morning for you? I'm gonna have to let my boys out soon. They gotta use the bathroom. But give me like 2 minutes, babies. 2 minutes. Just give me 2 minutes. All right, so Joseph, right? Joseph never fell into the riches of the world. He never got consumed by all the wealth he accumulated, right? Now, wealth is our divine right? But becoming consumed by wealth is not. Explanation of the fall of man really terrifies me. Yeah, but it's just don't become consumed by the world. Don't let the world consume you. Remember where your wealth comes from. Remember where your help comes from. Always remember those things, and that's what I'm about to talk about right now. Joseph always remembered where all his prosperity, where all his wealth, where everything came from. Just like we said before, Joseph never took the place of God, right? Even when his brothers asked him, or they were scared of him, he said, "Am I God?" He never once claimed to be God. He always knew that God was the one helping him in this process, and he was merely just God's channel that he was working through, right? So the fall of man is becoming egocentric when you start to believe that you are the one that is doing everything, and you forget that God is the one working through you, right? And that's why I like how these in excerpts tie into the reading, right? Joseph never forgot that he was not the one doing everything, and God was the one working through him, right? And then it goes through through Jesus' perspective in Matthew. And the and the 3, and we'll go over that at a different time. I'm sure it'll be what's up, Spock? What's up, Spock? Welcome to the stream, bro. Um, and we'll get into that later when we get more information on that one. And then we're gonna read Proverbs one more time. All right, my son, pay attention to my wisdom. Listen carefully to my wise counsel. Then you will show discernment, and your lips will express what you've learned. For the lips are a immoral woman. Are they? For the lips of an immoral woman are as sweet as honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil. But in the end, she is as bitter as poison, as dangerous as a double-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps lead straight to the grave. For she cares nothing about the path to life. She staggers down a crooked trail and doesn't realize it. Now, I don't know why I'm here. I'm Muslim. Hey, as long as you just have, as long as you're having a great time, that's all that matters, bro. As long as you're having a great time, and all, I feel like it applies to everything. I feel like everything applies to everything. Because if everybody believes that there's one God, right? We all have our different prophets, right? We all have our different prophets that do all their different prophetic things, right? But if we all believe that there's one God, then it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. You can use these same parables, and they're probably just. I haven't read the Quran, but they're probably similar in some way, but just spoken through a different prophet, right? Um, but let's stay focused, right? My son, pay attention to my wisdom. Listen carefully to my wise counsel. He isn't talking about a woman in this scenario. He is just talking about the sweet, the sweet enchantment that you can fall for if you go into the immoral world and look for the everything that the world can offer rather than what God can offer, right? It sounds so sweet. It sounds so smooth, so sweet, so nice. It all seems so nice, right? It all seems so nice. But what's the point if you lose your soul? What's the point if you lose your soul in the process? What's the point if if at the end, right, when you go, you can't bring it with you, right? What's the point? What's the point if you know you already can't bring it with you, right? Don't give up your soul. Don't give up yourself for the things of the world. Don't forget where your help comes from, right? Don't start falling into the world. Let the world trick you into believing that you are something that you are not. God works through you, right? And never forget that, right? Don't become some people out here who forget that statement, who forget those things. And let's read the ultimate prophet and law statement one more time. Peter refused to believe that Jesus would be killed and even censored Jesus for saying so. But Jesus forcibly informed Peter that only seeing one from a human perspective is as dangerous as a trap set by the Satan. Don't get trapped in your mind, right? Human perspective can be like construed with all this worry, with all this fear. Sometimes, man, it's just like it's anxiety. Sometimes you get anxious, right? But if you only see it from the human perspective, then you can never escape those things. You got to realize and remember that God is working through you, and that is extremely important. No matter what the situation looks like, that God is working through you. And in the end, it's going to work out. Don't get lost in the human mind, right? Don't get lost in the human mind, right? Thinking only of human abilities, right? Because we don't believe personally today that humans can do much. So you can't get lost. You can't get lost in that. You can't get lost in the human set of fear. That's animal instinct, right? That's the animal. You can't get lost in that. You can't get lost in fear. You can't get lost in worry. You can't get lost in those things. Because if you get lost in those things, then you're losing the perspective of God, right? Then you are at that point you are rejecting God's help. If you get lost in that, then you are rejecting God's help, right? God can't help you if you're rejecting Him. So remember that God is with you. God is always working through you. And no matter what that situation looks like, right? We all been in some shady situations in our life, right? Some situations where it's like, dang, I really don't know how this work out. But as soon as we stop thinking about from our perspective how it's gonna work out, and we just allowed it to work out, and we didn't just put so many restrictions on everything and all this stuff like that, it worked out, right? Because you let go of the human perspective. We just use that because it's what it says. Let human perspective on everything, right? We just let that go and let God do the work. Let God work through you like He's supposed to. And that'll be the end of today's reading. We'll keep reading tomorrow. And that'll be the end of today's reading. We'll keep reading tomorrow. Okay. Okay, now it's time to hit this outro because it's time to let my boys out. I said 2 minutes, and it was for sure like 3 or 4 or 5 maybe. So I need to let my boys out. They need to use the bathroom. So I'm gonna let y'all go and have a great rest of y'all day. So we are gonna let that limited score, baby. I appreciate you. I might even love you, but I'm for sure glad you woke up today. And thank you for joining the stream. Thank you for chatting with me. And I hope y'all have a great and blessed and amazing rest of y'all day. And I'm gonna see y'all possibly later. It might be a late day for me at the office, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see, right? It could just all work out mad smooth. You feel me? So I hope y'all have a great rest of y'all day. And I hope to see y'all again later if we do stream later on the day. And if we don't, we'll have 2 streams on tomorrow. Peace, y'all have a great one.